Hi there, my name is Kazungu Duncan from Ero Productions. I hope you are doing fine. Today, I am here to make yet another tutorial. And this tutorial, it's not basically a tutorial because it was a speed art. And I just want to explain what exactly I did. And I had one of my subscribers who happens to be my friend. And she requested that I do this for her. And also, I hope that as I dedicate this very video to her, that is Melan, I hope that it will also, be a blessing to you, because some of you might be watching my speed ads and do not understand what exactly I do. So in this tutorial, I'll be explaining to you what I did in this video. And in case you did not watch this video, kindly find a link here which you can go and watch that speed art, and I hope that it is going to be fun to you watching it. And therefore, guys, as you see, we have a lot to do from this tutorial. So without further ado, let's get started. And now back in the magical world of Photoshop. And in case you want to download any image that I'm going to use here, you already know what to do. Find a link in the description. And you have noticed that I started this video, my entire intro has been with a mask on. I just need to remind you that you need to put on your masks every time you are in a social gathering like churches, mosques, markets, bars, and many other. And if you will not put on a mask, you will be attracting a fine of $200. So I think you don't need that. So that was just to tell you that, you should put on your mask. But for me, I think I am alone. I can happily remove this and do my tutorial. So guys, as I said, Melan sent me a voice note. And I don't want you to feel like, Kazungu, you're just telling us someone asked this and some of you say that YouTubers are liars. But for me, I am usually straight. I usually say what exactly I had and what exactly I was told. So I want you to listen to this voice note. Maybe I'll put some, subtitles for you to understand this, because in some point she speaks Swahili and not all of us understand Swahili. So kindly allow us, because it's me and you, to listen to this very voice, and then we shall see what we are saying.
So hi Kazungu. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you, because ulinitumia link ingine I searched the cracked versions of Adobe Photoshop na Adobe Illustrator, and it was a success. Yeah, nimepata.
Please don't report me to Adobe
update out.
Don't,
so it's
please.
Good, it's up and running. And so far, okay, I'm learning through your tutorials, and so far I have an idea of the branding stuff and such. Yeah, basically your tutorials are very easy to learn. So you see, I want to request something. You see, the quick edits you normally do, vitu za lightning, ile kuna siku you created a path katikati ya mti on such a thing, and then somebody was walking through it. Okay, I was requesting, can you do a tutorial about it? Isikuwe a quick edit, ikuwe a tutorial about it step by step. A tutorial, because that's something I really like to learn. I know about it, so that's what I'm requesting. If it's possible, it's okay. I will really appreciate it. At least nitakuwa an idea of what I can do with the Adobe Photoshop. So anyway, yeah, that's all.
So guys, you heard her very clearly. That is what she asked me. And in case you make a request for me, I usually respond to it. So this video is to explain that speed art. I had this very composite, and thank God that I had saved it. So it's here. I need just to go through it very quickly for you to understand what exactly I did. Now, first of all, I had some photos. We have this photo for the tree, and then we have this another photo. You'll see where I'll place it. It's also some trees here. Then I also had some stairs, right, through this very forest. I cannot find my gate. I don't know where I placed it, but then I'll explain what I did. Now, this is the composite that I was working on. So the first step is that you have to make a copy of the background. So I had this background. Of course, this tree was like my background. So you have to make a copy of it. And I hope you know how to make a copy. Once that layer is selected, what you need to do is to just hit Ctrl J. If you hit Ctrl J, it will automatically create a new layer. And of course, you now have it just for backup. You know, you may miss some time and you need it to, you know, just do your thing. So I'll rename this to tree, maybe tree 1 or something. It's good to name your layers so that, you know, you understand what you are doing. Then the next step is to separate your subject from the background, right? And here my subject is this tree, right? So I need to separate it from the background, and to do that you can use the pen tool. In case you need to understand the pen tool, kindly find this tutorial I did, the Photoshop for beginners. I hope that you are going to get that. So I used a pen tool, and I will not explain exactly how to use a pen tool because I've recommended a video there, but it's very easy to use. You can also use any other tool that can separate this from, you know, your very background. You can use the lasso tools in case you want that. So you will just draw around this just with a pen tool, and you will separate it from the background, right? And then after separating it, like for example here I had you know, this is the tree, right? I separated it, and of course this is the other tree, and of course this one I put it off just in case I make a mistake. I can always fall back to it, right? So I did that, and then at the now let me just put off these layers so that I can be putting them on. What if I just do this, right? Just like that. So let me put on this, right? Yes, like that. Let me see this. Yep. So I'll put them on as time goes by. So we have separated our subject, which was the tree, from the background. You can see now I have the tree alone, right? Then I can always put on this to just you know, have that background there. I don't want it to go away. So, and the next thing to do is now to bring in the gate. And then when I brought in the gate, where is it? Where is my gate? I called it door. Where is it? Where is it? This is the door shadow. So the door should be down here, right? It's here. So this was the gate or the door that I'm talking about. So also it was in a building. Sorry for that. It was in a building, so I needed to separate this. And you will use the same process as you did before. You can use the pen tool. I recommend the pen tool because it is more precise. So I used that to remove the background and remain with the gate alone and resize it, right? So to resize it, if you select it, you'll see those linings. You can just hit Ctrl T for free transform. Then you resize it from the corners. And when you're resizing it, you hold Shift. So when you hold Shift, it is uniform and you can resize that to your liking. I was just showing you how to exactly resize. So I had that my gate, and also I needed a path through this very tree. So that's why I created a path here, and that I just made a selection and removed that very part, right? So for example, if I have this very tree and I need to make a path here, right? So I can use the lasso tools. So if I just take the polygonal lasso tool and just make a rectangle or square shaped thing here, then make sure this is selected and just hit backspace. It will automatically delete that space, right? So it will create for me a path through this very tree. So that is exactly what I did, and I was just showing you so that you can get this. So I have removed that, and I've already shown you how to do that. And then we'll place our door or our gate, right, just like that. Then the next thing we need to do is to just make sure that everything is, you know, well placed, right? Because you need to make sure that these things are contrasting. You cannot put a gate that, you know, have a different color, and I just needed to achieve, you know, the same color here. So I used several adjustment layers, just like, you know, the hue and saturation. For example, I had this blue to just, you know, beautify the background. You see, if I put it off, look at that, it is very flat, but then when I put it on, you can see it's bringing in something very beautiful. And again, I had this hue and saturation to just now even make it more beautiful. You see, the blue that I had put, it was, yes, it's fair, right? But it is something like, it is hazing, you know, but I didn't need that. So I just put some, you know, hue and saturation. And in case you need to understand this, you can always visit my other videos which I explained this. So if I double click on this very icon here, you can see what exactly I did. So I put some color here closer to some purple, right? And then I increased its saturation and I reduced its lightness to just achieve that mood, that dark mood. And that was to work on that very background. So you can still do the same on your composite that you are working on. Then the next thing I did was to now paint in the grass. You can see that this part is left without grass, but I need this to be filled with grass. And really, I don't have grass, right? But I can paint in grass. I don't know if you are getting me. So I just, you know, painted in some grass to make it, you know, very beautiful. So if I put on this grass, you can see now I have grass. And you can be wondering, how did you achieve this? Now let me show you using this example. So if I can just resize this, right? Allow me to resize this so that I can leave some space to paint in some, you know, these grasses, right? Just hit enter. Now what you do, you make a new layer. So to make a new layer, you see this icon here with plus, or some after the folder, you know, or before the trash can, there is always another button there. So if you hit that button, it will create a new layer, and you can just rename this layer to grass, right? Just like that. And then I need now to paint in that very grass. So what I did, I used the clone stamp tool, and the shortcut is S, and you have that. I resized this brush size just like that. To resize the brush size, you can hold Alt and then right click and drag to the left to, you know, reduce, drag to the right to increase, drag up to reduce the hardness, and drag down to increase the hardness. So that is how you can do it, a shortcut. But then to do that in a long way is to just come here on the brushes and make sure that this size is well. And I just like to have this very, you know, very hardness 0. If you have the brush, the grass brush, you can basically use that. I think I had one, these grass brushes. You can want to use that, and you can get some free brushes on brusheezy.com. They are offering some free brushes there, so you can use that. But in case you don't have that, you can just use the normal round soft brush, and that will do you just fine. So what this tool does, it picks the very texture or pixels or whatever you copy and paste. So it's just a copy and paste. So to copy, you just hold in Alt and click to where you want to copy. So I have copied that, and once you're doing that, make sure that all layers is selected, or you can select current and below. That will still work. So I'll copy here and then just come here. Let me copy it from here, then come here and just paint. Look at that. So it will add in some, you know, some good grass, just like that. Copy and paste and all that. So you'll do that until you finish, right, painting in this grass, and we shall do some good work here to just make sure that it is well placed, right? But now you get the idea. So you will paint in the grass until it's okay. Then you'll make sure that, you know, the patterns are well aligned, because I can see some, you know, problem here. So I can come here and copy here and paint it over here and just bring some greens here. I'll just alternate that way so that it is well positioned. I guess now you understand how I did that. And that is very, very quick. So I did that and, you know, made that. Then the next thing I needed is to bring in now the path or the staircases. So the staircase, of course, it's here. So I made a random, you know, selection here using a pen tool. Just make a selection here and copy that, you know, turn it into a selection. And to turn it into a selection, you know, if I have the pen tool, for example, and then I just make a random, you know, selection here. So to turn this into a selection, you just right click on the path and say make selection. Make sure this is 0 and just say okay. So it will turn it into a selection. You can now Control C to copy and Control V to paste. So you'll have here the part that I selected. So that is how to do it. I've just shown you in a really quick way. So that is what exactly I did. I picked this and you can see that it's over here. So if I put it on, you realize that it is there. But once you put it there, it's not really fine. So I needed to make sure that it is contrasting with the background, and you know, this grass, I didn't want it to be, you know, left out just like that. So I had some hue and saturation to just blend in. Look at that. If I put it off, you see it's somehow, I don't know, cyan or something. But when I put this on, you can see now it's some greenish and all that. So it brings in that, you know, blending in. Then on this, you can see it has sharp edges because I just randomly, you know, cut this. So I didn't like that. So I needed to have just some grass growing along this very path. So I used that very tool, the what do you call it? The clone stamp tool. And I just put some grass here so that it is, you know, like this is on that ground. I need it to be on that ground. It's not just something that I placed there. I need someone, when someone is looking at this image, I need him to feel that that part was really there. So I put some grass around here. You can see if I put it off, it's not fine. But once I put it on, it is beautiful. So to do that, you can also use the same trick I've used here to just create some grass around that very path. Then the next thing I did was now to have of course the door I've already put it, and then I just had some levels to bring down those lighting and all that, and to just, you know, make it look so beautiful, right? So I just had the levels, and you can see these very levels and these adjustments that I'm putting on, they are clipped to that layer. Once you clip an adjustment layer to a layer, that means that it is going to affect that layer alone. I don't know if you are getting me. So for example, if I have this very tree, right, and I need to put in some curves. For example, I have so many layers and I need that this very adjustment layer, for example, curves. I need the curves to affect this layer alone. So what do? I clip it to this layer so that it does not affect any other layer, right? So I'll come to adjustment layers and then choose curves. And then once the curves have loaded, I'll click on this very icon here. Once I click it, it will clip it to that layer. In case you don't have time to click here, so let me just uncheck that. You'll come here, right click and say create a clipping mask. Once you say that, it will automatically create a clipping mask on this layer. Alternatively, there are so many ways of doing this. So I'll come here, you see this line separating the background and the curves. I'll come there and hold Alt. It will bring that sign with an arrow pointing down. Then I'll just click it will automatically clip it on that layer. So anything that I'm going to do here, it will only but only affect this very layer. It won't affect any other layer. So any adjustment layers that you are going to add, make sure that you clip them to that very layer that you want to affect. So you can see these adjustment layers, like for example this hue and saturation, I clipped it on this grass so that it affects this one alone. So for example, if I put it off, you can see it's affecting everything. And once it's affecting everything, it is not very fine. So once I clip it, you'll see the difference. It's only now affecting that very layer alone. I think now you understand that. So you clip them to that very layer. So I clipped the levels there. Then I had some hue and saturation to just make sure. You can see now it's blending in. Let me put it off and see. Look at that. It is somehow, you know, overly exposed and all that. But once I put on the hue and saturation, look at that. It's now blending in. I don't know if you are seeing the difference. Let me zoom in and just put it off and see. Look at that. It's very overly exposed. But then once I put it on, look at that. It's now very fine. So once you clip those layers, I'm telling you, my friend, it is going to be so nice. Then I had now the highlights. So I was assuming if this is going through, right? If this route is going through, I just needed to have, you know, some highlights here and there, right? But before that, I put some other trees there, right? Let me show you. They are in the background here. So I had these trees, and look at that. So these are the trees, right? This is the image that I was telling you. I'll show you where I'll use it. So I placed it in the background over there, and I resized it too small so that when you see through it, you're also seeing some forest in the background, right? So I put it there, and I just, placed it there, and you can now see this root. It's like vanishing into that very forest, and it's bringing some good imagination and some good thing over there. So I had this, right? Now I also had the glow. So I was assuming maybe there is some light coming from that very background over there. And I just put some, was it, which color was this? Around pink. It was closer to pink, and just made it to glow. So that is what I did. And then after that, now it's when I'll think about the highlights. If there is a light, of course, lighting from that very forest, I need now to have highlights on that gate to just bring in some realism, right? I just need this thing to be very real. So I put some highlights here and there, and you can see now the gate is lit, so that means there is some light. And also I needed to have some shadow, right? Like if you look at this image, you have to analyze it. Where does your light come from? So in my case, the light is coming from my where do you call it? From my top left, right? It's coming from the top left, and it's hitting towards this side. So once it's hitting, so that means my left side will be exposed to that light, and then my left, or rather my right, will be now in the shadow. Sometimes English disturbs me. So I put some shadows on this side to just tell you that there is some shadows here, and there is some highlights on my left to just bring it that highlight. And in case, and also if you look at this tree, you realize that this, my right side, is a bit dark, but my left side is having some highlights. So that shows you that the light was from my left side. So I put some shadows, and then I also had some lights to just, tell you that there is some light coming from, there is a light coming from that very forest in the background, and there is another light hitting just from the front. So I also needed to put that into perspective. Then the next thing I had was the shadow. Let me see this shadow. Yeah, this is the shadow that I painted on this gate. Look at that. So this gate, I didn't want it to fail like that, just somebody just put it there. No, I needed it to be like it's there. So once it's there, if it is lit, it should have some lining I don't know if you understand me. So I put some shadows there to just show it was on that very tree. We need to make everything to look real. Then I had some levels, and these were general levels. You can see it's affecting the whole image, right? If I put them off, look at that. It's affecting everything. So I put it to affect everything that was here. Then I also, let me see this layer. Oh, this was now the girl. I was to name this. Let me name it. I need to name this to girl. So I had an image. I downloaded it. I think it was from pexels.com. You can find some quality free images from pexels.com. And I think I recommend that. Also, you can find them from unsplash.com or pixabay.com. Those are the sites that I find my images for my tutorials. So I had this girl, and I know you know what I did. So I removed her from the background. I separated her, and then I placed her on these stairs, and then I started now manipulating her and to have just some highlights. You can see now the left side is overly exposed. Why? Because the light is coming from the left side. So I needed it to be lit. Then I had some shadow such that on the right hand I have the shadows, and then I had this layer. I don't know why I didn't name it. This was the shadow. Like if the light is coming from this side, the shadow is always on the opposite side. So I had this shadow here. And then I think everything is done because I can see all the layers are turned on except the overlay. Now this overlay, I just put it there so that, you know, it brings in some good thing. Look at this. Without the overlay and with the overlay. And what I did, I just downloaded an image from Google, and this was an overlay image. And then what I did, I just changed the blend mode, right? If you select that layer and come here, these are the blending modes, right? So I changed it to soft light to just bringing some good, thing. You can try some other, blending options, but I think the blending mode that made me happy was the soft light. So I changed it to soft light to just bring in some good mood. So Melan and everyone who was wondering what exactly I did, I think I have explained what I did, and I hope that this was very helpful to you. And now that you are genuine subscribers, I need to add you some good, bonus. So guys, in case you need to make this very image pop and become more realistic, you can run a camera raw, and I think I've done so many tutorials using a camera raw. In case you haven't watched those very tutorials, I'll put a link in the description so that you can go there and just see how to use the camera raw. And I think it is something that you can apply on this very composite, and it will be so beautiful. So guys, this is what exactly I did, and I hope that this has really helped you. And in case you found value in this my video, feel very free to subscribe and also ring that bell so that you do not miss any notification from me. And guys, I just need you to help me reach out to many people, so feel very free to like this video and also to share this video. And in case you have a special request just like Melan had, feel very free to comment in the comments below. And in case you have my WhatsApp number, you know what to do. You can always send me a request and I'll be very quick to respond to that. So I usually make my tutorials on Mondays, and I believe that once you send that, you will be very patient until Monday so that you can have your video out. So guys, I don't want to keep you here, but I want just to thank you for remaining so very supportive to me, and I truly appreciate that. And really, I say that, may God bless you for remaining so loyal to my YouTube channel. And also, I believe that before the end of this year, I will have preached to so many people, and I know that many people are yearning for this, my very knowledge. And I'll give you my knowledge free of charge, at least when I can. So guys, I hope that I will see you in my future tutorials. Until then, remember to keep creating.